Hey, great Monday morning. It is a beautiful morning in the city of Brownsville, Texas, and in the Rio Grande Valley. And I mentioned the Rio Grande Valley because we have Josh on with us today
And
from
then McAllen.
McAllen, from
Yes.
the other side of the valley. That's where that's where the valley ends, right? Hidalgo County.
No, you got Starr County way out there,
Arriba.
but nobody really goes out to Starr County. It's a beautiful place. I've been out there, but there's not much to do out
Or isn't it like mostly like drug dealers type of thing? Or no, it's Willacy. That's Willacy.
there. I only know my own county.
So, Josh, have you been, man? It's been 2, 3 years since last we had you on.
That's right. I was thinking about that earlier. It's like, when was the last time I talked to you? And it was, yeah, it's been a while, man. It was right after COVID.
I think right towards the butt of COVID, towards the end of COVID, somewhere around there. I mean, we were
Yeah,
already starting to get disgusted with the masks and stuff, and we're going like, yeah, we're out of this crap.
yeah. It's interesting because you look back at COVID and like people don't even really talk about it, but you've seen everything that's everything. The repercussions of COVID are slowly trickling into the economy. Like now, it's strange to see, and it's strange.
Well, then you learn. We're talking about the government. Then you learn that a bunch of the crap that we were told
Yeah,
during COVID was a bunch of bull crap.
yeah. And I think everything is a bunch of bullshit. It's just like it's told to you in this beautiful way. But then you actually, the thing is that people are starting to realize that something's off. Like not just like one person or one person here. Like a lot of people are figuring out like something's off here. Like it doesn't make sense. Do you feel that way?
Yeah. Let me ask you something, because I've been thinking about this for a while. We had the Black Plague. Uh, you need headphones. Shut up. Mejor echo. I'm getting messages from. Remember Frankie?
Yeah, yeah, I do.
He's nuts. That's there. Well, I sometimes wonder if it's nature's way or God's way of uh, of clearing out, a big old chunk of people.
Hmm.
As the, if our ecosystem, our nature, Mother Nature, suddenly decides, and there's just we got to get rid of some of these people. We can't sustain them. And something like COVID comes, and what we lose like 1.2 million here in the United States, something I can't remember, 500,000, I can't remember, but millions, died around the world. So I always wonder about that. Is it just nature's way of saying, "Hey, let me get rid of this"? I thought of that for a while until you realize that it came from a lab in Wuhan.
Yeah. It's interesting because you even think about like the history of humanity, like when people came over here to America, they brought their diseases and stuff like that. So it's like it's humans that are bringing that stuff, and they're killing off their own people. But I don't know, dude. Is it nature's way of weeding out people because there simply is not enough resources? But then again, you think about it, like there's infinite resources everywhere. Like we can go and create food. We can go create more cows. We can create fake beef out of plants. Like you can eat bugs. So I mean, I don't think food and water is an issue because even with desalinization projects, like relatively they're cheap. So you can go to South Padre Island, desalinate that water cheaply, and then give it to the Rio Grande Valley. Like the whole thing that's going on with the Rio Grande Valley right now with the water treaty. Like, have you heard about that?
Yeah.
So we're experiencing a huge thing here in the Rio Grande Valley, and people don't even realize it. Like we've lost over $500 million this year in that because farms are no longer around, the mills are no longer around. Like that stuff is going to have an economic destruction here in the Rio Grande Valley. By the end of the year, we will have lost $1 billion here in the Rio Grande Valley because of that water. It's interesting.
Well, let me ask you: was here in Brownsville? I'm sure. I don't know what's happening in McAllen, but here in Brownsville, there's always these uh, drought warnings and conserve water, and even our utilities company, like, hey guys, no washing cars, and no sprinkling the yard once a week, maybe, si acaso eso and all this stuff. but then you see the hypocrisy of government by permitting one car wash to open 3 blocks away from another car wash and another car wash and another car wash. And that's why I go, didn't y'all want us to conserve water?
Yeah, there's tons of them here in McAllen, Harlingen. I mean, they're everywhere. They're popping up. But I mean, it's you think about that too. It's like it's a really good business idea. Have you ever seen those car washes, like car after car after car after car? That's good money. I would want to get one.
Yeah, but this is my thing. Yeah, back in my day, back when I was young, we used to have like carros usados, like used car lots everywhere. And back
Mhm.
then, the hush hush was that they were money laundering thing. They used them for money laundering. And then you saw taco stands, taco stands, taco stands, taco stands everywhere. I'm going like, bitch, do we need that many tacos? And maybe that's
Valley
why
loves their tacos though.
we're so fat for so long. But then, then of course the word is money laundering, money laundering, money. Now with all these car washes, I'm wondering, is it like the new way of laundering money? It's just go out there and have car washes. You can't
I don't
count
know.
them.
Yeah, I don't know, man, because it is a really good business idea. You think about like it's just money coming in every single day, every single day. You're making money hand over fist every single day. Because I found out, and I do polls all the time on social media. Is like,
Shit.
do you wash your cars like often? And people love the convenience of just going to a car wash and getting it cleaned every single day. Boom, boom, over and over and over again. So people love their nice, clean trucks here in the valley.
What's crazy because what happens is you go out there and get like you get like a little membership thing. You pay like $20 a month, and you could go as many times as you want.
Yeah.
And I think what they're banking on is that it's like the next gym,
Yeah, the
like
membership.
gym memberships that you go out there and you buy the year-long contract or something for gym memberships, and the first couple of weeks you go like every other day, and then all of a sudden you stop going, but you're already screwed for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it slows down. Even like you have the monthly membership and you forget to cancel it, you got an extra month or something like that. And it's
Yeah.
a great thing about that too, is because I recently launched my documentary, The Collapse of the bridge, the collapse that happened in 2001. And I was like, how am I going to release this? I can release it through the websites and people will pay once $9.99 to watch it, or let me try a membership on YouTube, because now they have memberships on YouTube. So all I did was I created the membership for $9.99 a month, and then I have both versions of the collapse, and then my other documentary I have both versions on there too. So I was like, you know what, let me test this out, see how the membership works, because it is true. Like people want to try these memberships, like Netflix. They want to have just the ease of all that stuff. You pay once, and then it comes out in their recurring payments every single month. So I'm trying that out. I just recently launched the collapse, so I'm going to test that out. And this month's actually the anniversary on September 15th,
Yeah. Yeah. It happened. What, September 15th, wasn't it?
2001, September 15th. Yes.
Yeah, it happened 4 days after September 11th.
Yeah.
And that's one of the ways to easily remember. I remember the collapse because I thought like it's crazy because when it happened, I was actually living in Monterrey, and
Wow.
uh, and a friend says, "Hey, turn on the TV, turn the TV, turn on the TV," and I'm watching 9/11, 5/11, watching 9/11, going like, "Damn, damn," and you get this feeling of insecurity
For sure.
after 9/11. You were around 9/11, right?
Yes. Mhm.
You
Yeah.
look young.
I'm 42.
Ah, not that young.
I got white hairs you can't see. I shaved them off.
Let me tell you, I tried to start picking them off, and then it just like spurted out. I said, like, screw that, I'm leaving them there. But you felt like, and this rage, this anger, when 9/11 happened. I remember I was pissed, and then George Bush comes out and says, like, we're gonna get them, we're gonna get them. We're like, yeah, let's go get them. And then September 15th happens. You're going like, oh my God, are they targeting? Are they
Yeah.
are they targeting Brownsville, South Padre Island, Brownsville, Texas? What the hell?
You know what's interesting is some people, very few people, still think that it was a terrorist attack. Like they still to this day think that it was a terrorist attack. But even like with the documentary that we did, we went in pretty deep too and uncovered some pretty cool stuff. But yeah, to this day, people still think that it was a terrorist attack.
Well, at that moment, I'll tell you right now, I'm thinking like, damn, why would they come and attack us?
Sapphire Island.
How far- I understand New York, but
Yeah,
ya estamos al par con New York. What the hell?
we're
But
too close to Mexico for them to care.
yeah, well, you start just wondering everything, suspecting everything. You start like questioning everything, like why did this happen? And
Yeah.
just again, nature, I guess. Well, watch the documentary. You'll get more information on it. Is this was this your first one? You've had something else before, didn't you?
No, it was a collapse. So I did the podcast. I did a 9 series podcast just to research the subject, right? Because I needed to know about the subject before I can even get into it. And I found that actually the podcast journey helped me tell a better story for the collapse. So it's a 9 series podcast that's available on YouTube. And actually, we donated that to the South Texas Museum here in Edinburgh. So there's actual like an actual whole thing of HD. What is this? The little passport that we donated to the museum. That way, there's historical reference of people that were actually on the water that day, real stories. Because you'll never hear a story like this ever again.
No.
Like it's a made for movie film. It just hasn't gotten there yet. Like this is such a phenomenal story. Rob tells it very well because he started documenting it like 20 days after the actual thing because his doctor was telling us like to start writing down everything that you need. That way you can keep it fresh in your mind and you won't have so many problems later, like keeping it in you. So he gave it back to the world. So he was documenting it the whole time, and it helped us really tell a really good story in a truest form of it. Because it's documentary, like it's not like I can lie and say lies about this whole thing. It's like
Or your
everything else
opinion.
is factual. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you. I mean, you probably interviewed several folk out there for the documentary. I'm sure. What was the most interesting story that you heard or that people shared with you?
There was quite a few, but if I can maybe say a gruesome one, I
Yeah.
don't know. If it's somehow people are attracted to gruesome stuff and chismes and all that stuff. So, there was one interview that I had with Gage Davila, which was a reporter there at South Hydro Island that was there for years and years, and he covered that story since when it started. And he was telling me about Harpoon Berry, which was one of like the key characters there. And he was saying when he fell off with his wife at the time, in the middle of South Padre Island at that bottom part, the highest peak in the bottom part, is known as like a shark. It's shark infested waters at the way bottom. It's like super deep because the ships have to drive through that channel, right? And he was saying that when he crashed down, he was beheaded, and they never recovered his head. So he's thinking that the sharks ate the head.
Consumed.
So that was one of the extreme things that we actually saw. And then another one was we actually got to film with the Coast Guard. We flew out to I forget exactly where it was, but we flew out to his state, and he was telling me that when they recovered the bodies, that they were in the water for so long, a lot of them got deformed.
Bloated.
And a lot of them collected water in their head, so it looks like they were
Bloated.
big, bloated and stuff like that. So it was something strange to see and something strange to hear too. But those are the realities of like what somebody is in water for days and days and days before they're recovered. So yeah, that's one of the stranger stories that we heard out there.
Well, let me ask. I can't remember. I'm going to take a guess, and you'll correct me. What was it? 15 people that lost their lives.
8.
Eight
There's eight people that lost their lives. There was only 3 survivors.
from the fall.
Yes.
Some people actually survived the fall.
Yeah, Rob and his family, his cousins and his friends. There was 4 of them underwater. There was Rob, Tony, and 2 other guys, and they recovered 3 people on the water that fell 87 feet off of that. Crazy.
How did they survive? I mean, was the vehicle that they were driving, or the way they
So
hit the water.
Interestingly enough, people don't really understand this, that you're supposed to drive with your windows down when you cross the bridge, right? Just in
Yeah.
case anything happens, you fall off the bridge. But the only three survivors that night had their windows down, which is kind of chilling. But the only three survivors that fell off that had their windows down that night.
Well, I didn't know that, and I tend to visit South Padre Island regularly, spend the weekend out there sometimes. But that's good information to throw out there, guys. Once you get on that bridge, lower your damn windows.
Yeah. Oh, here you want to hear another interesting fact
Yeah,
that nobody believes me, man. And I have I'm telling you guys, I'm not lying. I went when we were filming, we went with Captain Redbeard. I know it sounds strange, but Captain Redbeard took us out on his boat, and under the bridge there's a place that you're not supposed to enter. And he was like, "You guys want to go in there?" I was like, "Sure."
of course. Tell me
So
you're not supposed to, and that's exactly what I want to do.
we went in there with our cameras, and at the bottom of the bridge there's exposed rebar. So anytime you have exposed rebar and it's in contact with salt water, it expands. So technically there was something that happened years ago where I forget, it was in Miami or something like that, where condo collapsed, and it was because the rebar was exposed to the elements, and it ended up collapsing. So that's under the bridge today. Like, nobody understands that the bridge only had a 40-year lifespan, and it's over now, that lifespan by 10 years. So technically it is expired, and nobody really gets that. But I mean, it's a safe bridge, obviously, right? Because they're always doing maintenance.
Yeah.
I'll let you decide if it's safe or not, but I'm just sharing the facts that it has a 40-year lifespan, and it is 10 years past that. So you can call it expired or whatever you want, but yeah.
Maybe I'm not going to be going to the island that much often.
Well, also think about that. Like the island really depends. Island businesses really depend on people and travelers and stuff like that. So they are businesses. They are part of the Rio Grande Valley. So don't stop supporting South Padre Island, but just be aware.
Yeah, and I guess again, going back into what we're saying, I hope individuals decide to. Actually, I'm going to go check it out. I'm going to go see if more people are crossing the causeway with their windows down. You
Yeah.
know, that might be a good tidbit to throw out there on social media. Like, guys, when you're
Yeah,
up on
absolutely. 9 million people cross that bridge every year. So you can only think about how much weight that bridge can hold over time.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Good stuff to know. As to what inspired you to go this route in regards to a documentary and choosing Queen Isabella? Is it Queen
Yeah,
Isabella?
the Queen Isabella Causeway collapse. Rob had reached out to me one time because I was doing podcasts with entrepreneurs, because I'm a business owner, right? So I'm super interested in what business owners are doing, because I wanna follow their success and learn from them and stuff like that. But Rob reached out to me, I think, on my 4th season of the podcast, and he's like, "Hey, I got the story for you. If you don't like it, then you don't have to give it any more attention, right?" And I kind of just kept blowing him off. And he's like, "Dude, just give me an hour of your time and come to my studio over here, and let's talk about this thing." And I was like, "Okay, fine." I showed up, and an hour later, I was floored at the story, because I'm from the Valley. I've never heard that. So
Oh
when I
no!
heard, I'd never heard that his story about the
Oh,
collapse, right? So it was interesting to hear, like, we have a hometown hero here in the Rio Grande Valley, and with 3 other guys that helped save the 3 survivors that night, and nobody really even knows about it. So that compelled me to tell the story and get it to where it needed to go.
yeah, I didn't know about the survivors actually until you mentioned it right now, which I think is amazing. As
Yeah,
I just think I thought that no one could have survived that fall. As
yeah,
we've had a lot actually we've had a couple of suicides out there.
yeah.
Individuals that decide to take their life and they jump off the bridge and no queda nada. It's
Yeah, one of the interesting stories about that too is one of the lawyers that was helping on that case. This is a fairy tale, or I don't know if it's real or not, right? But I heard that he was so he was so hurt by everything that happened that day, and he backstabbed a few people, right? He apparently had two buckets, paint buckets, empty paint buckets of gold, and he was driving there. He told the cab driver to stop in the middle because he needed to throw up. He jumped off with that gold and sank to the bottom. That's a story that I heard. I can't confirm if it's true, but it's an interesting story.
It was Marcian, no?
Yes. Yeah. No, no, not the Marchand. It was one of the lawyers. I forget which one because Marchand's still there, isn't he, at the island?
Marcian was an attorney because the story sounds so much alike. Marcian was an attorney that was found guilty. I think I don't know what. I honestly don't remember what it was, but so he's gets a cab, says, "Hey, take me to the island," and takes him to the island, and tells the cab driver, "Stop here. I need to throw up," and stop there, and then just
Jumped off.
yeah,
Yeah, I heard he jumped off with two paint buckets of gold. That I don't know, but I mean, I guess it adds a little flavor to the story. Huh?
it does. But I'm curious to know if it was the same attorney. I don't know if Marcian was in any way involved with any of the defendants or anyone out there fighting the case. I don't know. I have no idea. He was going to go to jail. Actually, he had been sentenced and stuff, and instead of going to jail, decided to jump off the bridge. But it's exactly the same schematics as the one that you mentioned. So I'm wondering if it's the same one.
Yeah, there probably is a correlation. Interesting.
Uh, Frankie wants to know what kind of camera you're using.
I use the Sony A3, A4. Yeah, Sony A4.
Is it a camera or is it a?
Yeah, it's an actual digital camera, and then I have my light set up over here, so it's giving me that nice lighting over
Te hace ver más bonito.
here. Yeah, looks nice. And also my studio back here, I got some of my awards back there for the collapse, actually.
Yeah, I need to look more bonito. I need all the help I can get. Shit. my my assistant is nodding his head, going like, "Yeah." I said, "Bitch, shut up."
If you don't have a filter on.
Yeah, yeah. You can see all my arrugas, all my white hair. And I'm actually considering doing a little bit of coloring, but then I think it just makes you look 10 times worse.
Yeah, but then you got to do it all the time too.
Yeah, I can't do that.
So,
That's
yeah,
one of the reasons I don't shave. It's because you have to go out there every day and shave. I said, those extra 15 minutes are important to me.
yeah, for sure.
I got
But
to
also, like for me, sometimes I'll let it grow, but then I have business meetings, and for some reason, people like the shave nice, clean look. So it's interesting because people are judgy like that. This is get down to it. People judge you based off your looks. That's how it is. It's how it always been. I always ask people, should people judge you off your looks? And a lot of people like, no, I'm gonna do me or whatever. But then also sometimes it's a double-edged sword because sometimes business owners look at people and they don't want to do business with that person because of the way you look.
Well, that's why I've been so successful down here is because I'm just so handsome.
There you go.
It's a tough job, but someone
Maybe I need to move to Brownsville to get some more work than that.
competition. They're like, oh,
Right.
I just see you feeling better. Yes, let's say the past couple of days, kind of weird. I went to Piedras Negras in Eagle Pass, across from Eagle Pass, and it's a horrible little town. It's just there's nothing there. There's nothing to do. Aparte, internet sucks. Wi-Fi sucks. Everything sucks. And I said, "Nah, I'm out of there." And I came back, and it's crazy because you'll get to this point once you start getting a little bit older, like things that you could do before or just you can't do. So I said, you know what, screw it. I'm driving back home, and I drove back Wednesday at night, and I was driving at night all the way back down to Brownsville, and let me tell you, it was horrible, a horrible, horrible little trip. I can't drive at night much anymore. It's not the same, and I think I got chorrillo or something. I had the runs for a couple of days, and I just started to feel very. Huh?
Was it the food out there?
It might have been the food. It might have been just being off balance. Is there where and I'm sure you are too, because most individuals like ourselves are very, very systematic. So like
Yeah.
every night I go to bed at 12. I wake up at 6:45, sometimes 6:30. I go to Walmart, I go to the coffee shop, and then I come straight here. So,
Routine based.
eh?
Routine. You're on a routine.
Yeah, it's very systematic in that I keep that always. So I'm wondering if because I threw it off whack, my whole system just went crazy.
Interesting. Yeah, I found that like that's one of the greatest hacks to stay busy and stay keep moving forward. Like you stay on the same regimented routine over and over and over and over again. And a lot of people are like, "Well, that's boring, whatever." But like I found for me that it helps me become a little bit more successful, and I already know what I'm going to do. Like I have lists that I have to check off every day. It's like kind of annoying, but I found that these little hacks they make a huge difference in my life, especially because I'm trying to grow my business and I'm trying to grow my life. You know, I'm 42 now, so I have to be at a certain points when I turn 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 like that. So this regimented program for me makes sense in my life now.
Yeah, yeah, I depend on it desperately. But I think I agree. In you have to continue to stay active because I let me tell you, I run into a lot of individuals right now, and we'll talk a little bit about this. I don't know if you're aware, but I'm sure you understand the situation. Um, w- uh, this Our school district just recently sold to the city of Brownsville one of their schools, one of their older schools, Cummings Junior High,
For the
and
zoo.
for the zoo. Yeah, and they sold it off and they started this group of individuals that alumni, Cummings alumni, and staff. And I look at individuals that were with me back then in junior high and high school, and I look at them now and go like, "Damn, you look horrible." You
Yeah,
know what the hell happened to you, bro? Pero se dejan ir. You know they don't. They don't take care of themselves. They get into this. Me, I look the way I want to look and everything, and I go like, no. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I decided to lose weight. You know, because I I think I gave myself back 10, 15 years of life just by losing
absolutely.
all that weight.
Yeah,
But
and the reason why is because it's so damn hard. Like I only figured this out like 2.5 years ago. I started my journey with weightlifting and dieting 2.5 years ago. Like I diabetes is massive here in the Rio Grande Valley, and I always talk about because I give myself the hardest time. I always call myself a fat ass. I look in the mirror and I was like, dude, you need to do something about your situation today. And a lot of people were like, well, don't use the word fat. Don't use the word. I was like,
obese.
guys, like, come on, like I was obese, like I was going through depression, I was sad. Like you have to have that hard talk with yourself because you can't have that hard talk with yourself, then you're never gonna do anything because you're just gonna assume like, okay, well, I'm fat, everybody loves me, this is who I am, whatever. That's not the case. Like your health is gonna start declining faster and faster and faster every single year if you don't do something drastic about it today.
Today, yeah, and that's the key word. El problema es que nosotros como mexicanos, we have the mañana mentality. Mañana. Like this work that I was supposed to do yesterday, I said, someone, my assistant said, let's just do it tomorrow. Like, Mexicano.
Well, think about that too. We're working on Labor Day.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, I tell, shut up. I tell everyone, I said, like, that's something I guess a lot of people don't understand. You're a businessman. There are no holidays for business people.
No.
I'm here working on Christmas, New Year's Day. I mean, I'm here. If I'm not traveling, you better believe I'm going to be here on Thanksgiving. It's your business. You've got to be present, or you use that time. And this is one of the things a lot of people don't understand. You use that time in order to play catch up. This is in my aspects. But we're on call 24/7. 365, 366 a year. We're here. I'm
Yeah, I
here.
think one of the hardest things for me to understand was like when my wife was telling me, "It's like, well, why are you gonna work today? Like nobody's working today." I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like everything's open today." Like you're right. It's your business. Like if you're not selling and you're not doing something for your business as much as you possibly can, your business starts to fail and starts to go down.
100%.
Like
Yeah.
and that the hustle culture is not for everybody. Like I had to realize that too. It's like not everybody is willing to go every single day, get up early, go do the things that you need to do because it sucks. Like there's going to be crappy months where it just sucks and sucks, and then there's the good months. But like throughout the year, like it all balances out, and like okay, you kept hustling, you kept
Yeah.
working, you deserve it.
People like Juan that don't want to work. Um, let me, we self-employed work 7 days a week. Yeah, Luciano is a clear example. Luciano is a friend of mine, and I love him. I love his family. Again, le tienes que machetear. Something that you mentioned is biblical. It's- Finally, he says something biblical. But there's are you familiar with scripture?
Not familiar, but I am a religious guy.
That's a
I definitely am.
oxymoron. Like what? What did he say? Let me say, well,
I'm a God fearing man.
let me say that now.
100%.
There's a story that happened in the Old Testament where Joseph becomes Joseph gets thrown in jail, and while in jail, the king, the pharaoh has dreams, and no one can interpret them. And one of I think it's his cup holder says, "Hey, I met a guy in jail that could probably answer your dreams," and brings him out of jail. And Joseph, he tells him the dream. He goes, "Well, there was." Siete vacas gordas that were on the shore, drinking water, and then siete vacas flacas come out of the river or the lake, whatever it was, and they eat las vacas gordas, and they remain vacas flacas. And he goes, and then another one with the bushels of wheat and stuff. But then he interprets a dream. He says, "Es que las siete vacas gordas are 7 years of prosperity." And after those 7 years of prosperity, van a venir 7 años, 7 years of famine, where there isn't any. So you just get ready. And the Pharaoh goes, "Oh, well, there's no one smarter than you." So he makes him, second in command, right from a jail. And they prepare for it. And I mentioned this because it's the same with business. You mentioned this, that you're going to have those moments where you're out there, you're going to make a crap load of money, or you're going to be well, but you've always got to prepare for those slides where it goes down, so it all balances out, evens out, cools out.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you think about that too, is like everything's getting more expensive. Everything is getting more expensive.
Biden, Biden, Biden Harris.
So there literally is no other way. Like you have to put in the work to be able to put the food on the table for your family, because no one else is going to do it for you. Like you simply will not make enough if you're not hustling and doing the work that you need to do every single day to put food on the table, or to keep at the lifestyle that you think of in your head that your family's used to. So because once people have something that they're so used to, going downgrading is not an option for them. Upgrading only is, but that's just how it is. Like that's the mentality of the world that we live in. Nobody wants to go down, they only want to go up, and when they go down they do not like it.
Unless you're crossing the river illegally, then you get everything for free.
Everything for free.
Everything. Uh, Lalo, where did you study filmmaking?
So when I started my digital marketing agency back in 2016, we were working with a bunch of Rio Grande Valley businesses, and one of the aspects of that was providing film, videography, and stuff like that, right? So I knew that I needed to learn videography very well, because in the future I was probably going to be doing this stuff on my own, right? So we hired some of the best content creators, some of the best videographers in the valley, and I went with them every time they would film, and I learned from these guys so much that I started enjoying it and creating films on my own. And then I shot just naturally. Like from everything that I learned, I YouTube University. I'm a straight A student in the University of YouTube. So it's like it's just something that you do more and more. You pick up your camera and you actually film stuff and record it and you upload it. and then you get feedback from people. Like most people are unwilling to put themselves out there or put their content out there because they're scared of what people are going to think. Nobody cares. Like nobody at the end of the day cares enough to be able to like, okay, whatever, let me take time out of my day to criticize this. You just got to keep doing it, and it gets better, better, and better and better. So to answer the question, I studied it by just doing it every single day,
Self-taught.
self-taught.
Yeah, and, that's how I'm fairly good at computers, and I mean, back then, well, when computers were first coming out, people were like, "Why is there? Did you take a course? Did you study?" And there was no YouTube back then. And I said, "No, I got on it every day, and I try to figure out a lot of different things on it." Yeah, it's a hands-on process.
Let
Now,
me ask you this.
yeah,
So you're an older demographic, and you came into the
thanks.
computers. Well, not in a
Appreciate it.
disrespectful way, but you're the demographic that usually doesn't like to mess with computers, mess with technology. What was it about technology that got you into, like, why did you decide to jump into technology and computers?
Oh, it was twofold actually. First of all, one of the things that I've always said, you always got to adapt to the whatever's coming in, and going to be out there. But I really wanted to learn Excel. I wanted to learn PowerPoint. More than anything, it was for church, because I am. I don't know if you knew this, but I am the best and most handsome pastor in Texas
Nice.
and north of Mexico. And it's crazy, because other people have come back and forth, and I go like, nah, they don't compare. But so I wanted to up my game, and there was just a wealth of information online. So I started working with a computer, and also I've always been business orientated. That's what I think a lot of what you and I and Luciano and Royal have in common. I'm talking about the people I've seen, and Frankie too. Actually, Frankie's started to get into that little groove. When you're business oriented, you've got to stay at the forefront of everything that comes on. And I make mention of this because it, again, going back into theology and also business, there's always something new, on the horizon, and if you don't update, you're going to stay back, and you're going to be a relic, and you're not going to be relevant. And I make mention of this to a lot of individuals, and I think it's in everything, especially for individuals that that are teaching our children. They have to continue to go to workshops, continue to take a lot of extracurricular work out there, in order to be at the forefront of it. When I was on the BISD board, I dealt with a lot of individuals that said like, well, I don't, I'm old school, old fashioned type of school teacher. I go like,
Very antiquated.
yeah, that does not work. You've got to meet everything out there. That's why I drive a Tesla now.
Yeah. I drive a Tesla as well.
Amazing, right?
Yeah. Do you have the full self-driving computer?
You better believe it.
Uh, I don't think people really understand that Tesla is a robot. Like, yeah, I don't know if you know this, but Tesla is coming out with the Optimus robot. Have you heard of that?
Yeah,
So
it's very,
eventually, you're gonna be able to pay 60 to 70 grand to have an employee or a person that's going to be helping you with everything in your house. There's gonna be it's gonna be crazy. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. You're gonna be able to plug it in. It's gonna be able to do whatever it can, Wi-Fi and stuff like that, Bluetooth. Like, and it's gonna be less than 100 pounds. Like,
I just fired my assistant.
don't fire him yet. He's still like a year off.
Well, it's it's amazing, but and again, I was very hesitant about a Tesla. I'm like, nah, I don't know, and what you start to think about is all the negatives of an electric car, and you're like, well, and and you stay on those, and you don't realize that the pros outweigh the cons in a huge way. When I First of all, the misconception is that a Tesla is not affordable to people. And let me tell you, my car payment, I'm leasing mine. I leased mine for 3 years, and I'm planning to buy another one actually in January, because it's so amazing. My payment is $518 a month.
Wow.
It's nothing. My sister's paying close to $1,000 for her truck. My other friend has got an older truck, is paying like 850, and it really isn't that expensive. My payment is $518 a month. Insurance is what kills you.
Yeah.
Well, it not horribly, but I am paying $200 a month in insurance. But what I save on gasoline, makes it up.
Yeah, and also think about like the convenience too. You just plug it in and you're ready to go. It's the perfect city vehicle, not so much for traveling because it does add hours to your driving and your whole trip, which is a pain in the butt. But it really is the perfect city vehicle. Like you travel up and down Brownsville all the way to McAllen and back. Like it's an amazing vehicle.
It is an easy go. And the other day, last week, it was trippy because Papa wanted to go eat. So I got Papa. I know he didn't want to go eat. We wanted to go see one of the church buildings here in Brownsville. So got in the car. I said, "Let me drop off my laundry because I have people wash my clothes because I'm lazy." But went to the car wash. I was gonna say car wash. Went to the lavanderia. Dropped off the clothes, and I was reversing, and for some reason I stopped paying attention. You got the three cameras there that are, you're seeing, and plus you already know you're supposed to look at the rear view mirror and stuff. And I had noticed there was a car, right, that should have been there. It was parked wrong. Was parked behind me, and all of a sudden, boom, and I thought, oh crap, I hit the car. No, the car stopped by itself.
Yeah, it's awesome.
The car stopped by itself in order to avoid hitting the damn car.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, people don't realize that Tesla is a technology company. It's just every Tesla that is out there, it's collecting data from every single Tesla that's connected, and it's using that to create better software, better technology. It's amazing.
So, what's going to be your next project? I mean, you did the collapse. Are there other tragedies here in the valley that you're interested in covering?
So the second documentary that we made, and it was very hard for me to pick a second documentary because I showed my mom the first documentary, The Collapse, and she's like, "You're never gonna be able to top that," and stuff like that. I was like, "Fine, whatever. I don't want to be a one hit wonder." But one of the reasons why I did The Collapse is because I wanted to learn the art of storytelling. If you can tell a good story, you don't need a good camera. You don't need good audio. You need to tell a good story because that's what people gravitate towards first, a good story. So the second documentary that we filmed was named Conquista. That's a lot of his artwork back here. He's an artist here from the Rio Grande Valley. This guy spray painted over a $78 million Pablo Picasso in Houston at the Manil, one of the most beloved museums in Houston. Spray painted over $78 million Pablo Picasso, walked out, fled the country for 6 months, served 2 years in jail. We told that story, and it won another 8 Best Documentary Feature awards. So they're interesting stories. There's a lot of interesting people from the Rio Grande Valley. I haven't found the next documentary that I want to do because, in all honesty, documentaries don't pay.
Well, I think there's got to be ways to bleed those things. Let me tell you. But I got one for you. Have
What
you
is
ever
it?
heard of Casa Amigo?
No.
Look into it. Casa Amigo is the collapse of one of our downtown buildings,
Hmm.
and it happened when I was a kid, but well, not a kid. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember when it happened. But check it out, Casa Amigo, and it was so trippy because back then I think some people died in the collapse of the building, but the cooperation between Matamoros and Brownsville, firefighters came over and the whole community got out there. It's an interesting story, and I'm just surprised that no one has actually ever done a documentary on it or put up some videos. But there's a lot of newspaper clippings out there that I think that you'll be able to find. But like the collapse of the since you're on this collapse thing, the
Yeah.
collapse of the Casa Amigo. I'm so right now I still don't know why it hasn't gotten more coverage than it could.
Yeah, I think a lot of things just get overshadowed, and like there's so much information out there. It's like people don't even know what to look at anymore. And honestly, they don't even know if it's real or not, especially with AI.
Yeah, but yeah, check it out and let me know. And I mean, I still think I know some of the individuals that are still around. One of our former mayor, well, the mayor at that time, I think he just recently passed away. I think it was Ignacio. Can't remember his name. I can't remember his name. Hernandez, Nacho Hernandez. Does anyone on here know? I think it was Nacho Hernandez, Ignacio Hernandez, that was our mayor back then. He's in a lot of these pictures and a lot of these video clips. Where they're recording the collapse of the building. Uh, I honestly don't even remember how many people died, but I think that they pulled out like a couple of kids from there, and
Wow.
I think that would be kind of an interesting thing. Well,
Yeah, one of the ones that had been on my radar for a while that we had started doing podcasts about was it was happened in Mission where the Dr. Pepper truck hit the school bus and it fell
oh
into
God, yes,
we had started doing that, but then I think we interviewed like three people that were there that day, but then we hit a roadblock. Like nobody else wanted to talk to us anymore. So sometimes it's like that. Like I guess enough time hasn't gone by, or they're comfortable to talk about it. But you're talking about like 33 years already,
yeah,
36 now.
yeah. Ours happened. I think the collapse happened like 30 years ago. I can't remember, but I think it's again. I haven't. I don't know why anyone hasn't really still looked into it that much. Have you ever seen a flying taxi? A documentary is needed on that. Lalo's making mention how stupid sometimes our elected officials are. Uh, you know, we paid a guy. I think it was like $2 million because we gave him incentives, $2 million because they were going to bring flying taxis uh,
Hmm.
to Brownsville because of the SpaceX theme and everything else. Talking about
Oh, that's
Elon.
real.
Yes,
Oh, wait, say that again. What?
the city of Brownsville paid this company that was supposed to, going to bring flying taxis to the city of Brownsville in the next 2 3 years, and gave them, I think, $2 million in incentives, and
Wow,
it was a scam.
wow,
and
wow.
and it's crazy, because I think that I'm very very politically inclined in regards to a lot of the shows that we do, and when we first heard it, I said like, "Are y'all stupid? You know, are
Yeah.
y'all nuts?" I mean, no one in the city of Brownsville is going to be getting on a flying taxi to begin with. Second of all, I haven't heard of flying taxis anywhere. What
Yeah,
made anyone think that we were going to get flying? You've got the drones now that deliver like a lot of packages and stuff, and
not
all,
here in the valley.
but
I
not
had
here.
wanted to bring that here to the Rio Grande Valley because I went through the whole the certification to be a drone pilot, and it's hard. Like it's very hard to become a certified drone pilot. There's people out there that just fly their drones for fun, and like they get away with more. But the airspace is highly regulated by the FFA. Like you cannot just take up a drone anywhere you want. Like it's impossible for them to actually have flying taxis. Like that stuff is like 10 years off. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. So we lost $2 million.
Wow.
The people, but by now it's just like the city of Brownsville, the community here in Brownsville stopped ordering Vaseline, in the pint-sized jars. Now they get them in the barrels because we get screwed all the time, bro. And and what a lot of people don't realize, it's the same players, and the same individuals, and it's just continuously get screwed. It's like one of the things that people would say uh, back then when I was growing up. They say, ¿Cuál es el país más rico del mundo? What is the richest country in the world? And everyone, all United States, and they said, no, Mexico. And they said, why Mexico? Juan loves Mexico. Why Mexico? He doesn't. Why Mexico? He goes like, porque se lo viven robando, 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 y todavía tiene recursos. And it's the same thing, I think, with what happens with Brownsville, and Hidalgo County is famous for that too. But it happens, one of the things that Brownsville needs to be famous for is that we get screwed millions and millions and millions of dollars, at every turn, and we know we still have money. for individuals to come back and steal from. And it's just crazy.
Yeah,
But
it's interesting. I do want to share this with your viewers because last year in January I started using Chat GPT and I started getting into AI like every single day. When I got access to Chat GPT, I was in it for 2 to 3 hours every single day because I knew that AI was eventually going to start replacing a lot of the stuff in the whole everywhere in the United States. But the amount of fraud and scams that you're about to see on social media and on the digital world is that's about to be unleashed is going to be mind-boggling because you think about now we're in an election year. You don't even know if any of the candidates are actually using AI to replicate themselves or replicate audiences and stuff like that. Nobody's going to know what's real or not. And that's the reason why Facebook, X, Instagram have like those stars so you can it's an actual verified account because the rest of its stuff is going to be spam and fraud. So it's something that your viewers should be aware that the amount of fraud and scams that are going to come through social media are going to be like something they have never seen before.
well, I think, and again, I don't follow the presidential election that much. I mean, and I've been very, very open about it. There's no way in hell I'm going to vote for another Biden Harris administration. Personally, never, not going to happen. And but there was a picture out there where Kamala Harris gets off a plane, and there's no one there. There's a couple of people there waiting for her, and then the picture comes out where there's like a big old crowd out there.
Yeah.
I imagine that's the kind of stuff that we're going to be seeing more in regards to what appears to be and what reality really is.
That and also I already have the software to be able to replicate voices. So for example, like we have a podcast in my studio here in McAllen and I get some really clean audio. I can make you say whatever you want. Like anything that I want you to say, I can have it and replicate it. Like I already possess that AI technology and people don't realize it that like eventually it's going to be video. Like this video of me, it's pretty clean, right? You'll be able to import this, import my voice, and then my mouth will actually say whatever you want to type in. Like that's already here.
Damn.
Yeah,
Well,
it's great.
there was a video out there I saw. I think it was on YouTube where Trump is holding up a convenience store, and it looks like Trump and it sounds like Trump. You go like, damn.
Yeah,
And that's the kind of stuff that I think is going to be interesting in the sense that a lot of legal cases might be swayed one way or the other. You show kind of that kind of crap in court. And some people believe uh, uh, it's the I hate him, so anything that is said bad about him, I'm going to believe mentality.
mhm,
That
yeah.
I experienced that. I mean, I don't know what your experience is with stalkers and other individuals out there. I had six stalkers in my time. Six.
Wow.
This is just aquí nomás en aquí locally, but it was trippy that you start to realize, what your audience is like. Because back then, once you start doing these things, you think like, no, well, everybody likes it. Todos me quieren. It's like, remember that? I don't know if you remember Saturday Night Live with that smiley thing. The guy that looks at it was Al Franken that looks in the mirror and says like, I'm smart, uh, I'm capable, and gosh darn it, everybody likes me. You remember that guy?
I don't remember that.
It was an Al Franken character, something smiley or something. But you start to realize, and you start to learn. I've grown a lot since the time that we started doing shows and being on social media. But you have two groups of people. You have the people that appreciate what you do, that love you, that like what you do, and you got these other individuals that can't stand you no matter what you do. So, when I had one of my stalkers out there go out there and do an anti-Erasmo page, a literal
Wow.
anti-Erasmo page, and uh, you know, he would go out there and say the weirdest crap, like, oh, he's eating tacos by himself because everybody hates him, and then you get those people, yeah, that's right, no one likes him, and blah 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 blah, because they'll believe anything you say. And the fact of the matter is, I usually most of the time I like to go to eat by myself. I go to the movies by myself. I'm more of a loner, introvert than more people want to believe. But you're always going to have those naysayers out there, and these individuals that no matter what, they're going to hate what you do. Have you experienced that with your documentary
I
experience?
mean, with the documentary, yes, because you like for yourself, you're a very polarizing character because you talk about certain things, you talk about politics, you talk about religion that are they're very polarizing. So in the Rio Grande Valley, you think about like the people that live here, they love the chisme, they love the toxicity, but they also are a very caring community. So you're getting everybody, here. I am not as popular as you, so I don't have stalkers. So
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
yeah,
Um, yeah, but you think about like also like it's interesting because like the political part of it alone, if you mention a certain candidates, people go off. Like it's a trigger to people, but I mean at the same time, it's like I don't understand. Like it's interesting.
it was La Tienda Amigo. I called it La Casa Amigo. It's
Okay,
Tienda Amigo. My bad, my
I
bad.
think Casa Amigos is a tequila brand.
I would not know anything about that. But yeah, La Tienda Amigo, La Tienda Amigo. I said Casa Amigo, so I was probably thinking tequila for some reason, early Labor Day morning. But La Tienda Amigo, yeah, if I find some stuff, I'll shoot your way. Very interesting. It'd be good to look into.
Yeah, absolutely.
But besides the collapse and the other one you mentioned, the
Conquista.
Conquista, are there any other avenues or areas? I mean, that you might be interested in looking at here locally, because I'm thinking that a lot of these are here locally, or you're focused on the local, which is I think is wonderful. I think we need more of our story told out there. Is there any other avenues or genres that you're interested in?
I mean, I'm trying to do the whole storytelling thing, but this year I was really focused on growing my business, the advertising agency that I have in the Rio Grande Valley, because I've noticed, and this is a startling statistic across the United States, that 10 to 12 million businesses close every single year. And you drive down the street and you see how many businesses are closing. It's heartbreaking because I'm in business. I talk to business owners all the time, and a lot of them are starting to cut back. They're starting to trim the fat. They're starting to get rid of employees, and a lot of them don't know how they're going to keep their lights on the next month. Like that is a reality of business, and I think in business, it's whoever survives the longest is the one that's going to be successful in the long run, right? Because you go through those dips and valleys and stuff like that, but if you hold on long enough, you'll start to go up, 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 and up. But yeah, I focused a lot more on my advertising agency because the advertising alone gets a lot more results than everything else that's out there. So I switched over to social media advertising, and it works. If your customers are here in the Rio Grande Valley, they're using Facebook and they're using Instagram, and I can find them.
Well, let me tell you something. One of our WalMarts here, going back into the AI and to business stuff, one of our WalMarts here has gone 100% self checkout. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know if that's happened up there in McAllen area or something, but
Yeah, yeah. A few of the
I
Walmarts they still have the cashiers, but it's mostly checkout now. Like you can see where everything's starting to go. I
here.
took a course with the UTRGV. They have a continuing education course that's online, and it's an artificial intelligence course. And they're saying that within the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to have something that's called AI Manager in a Box, where the AI Manager in the Box will be able to handle every aspect of the digital parts of your business. And now you think about that, it's like a very small team of two, three, five people can make $100 million. Like that's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'd heard that that's where they were going in regards to Walmart. I figured it would be like up north and stuff in the big cities and stuff, and maybe California or something. But I was shocked. I went into our Walmart here on Boca Chica. I mean, de una puerta all the way up to the other door, self checkout, and we're like, what the
Uh,
hell happened? I didn't even
and
know when they did that shit.
think about this too is like there's a declining population in the United States. So the older demographic is starting to disappear. They're not in the workforce anymore. The middle aged are starting to work, right? And they're eventually going to stop working. The younger demographic really doesn't want to work, or they're begrudgingly going to work, right?
Like
And
my
there's a declining population. So the answer to a declining United States population is AI, because we still have to prosper. Like there is no other way, that we still have to put in work to be able to make taxes, economy grow, stuff like that. So AI is the answer to a declining population.
Well, it's amazing because well, I'm very fortunate because I don't know if you knew this, but I know I go out there and marry people.
Hmm.
So um, you can't replicate that. AI cannot go out there and marry people. So that's one of the reasons why I figured if you had a good theology background and a good business background, you could find a way to merge. I mean, look at all those damn pastors making millions and billions of dollars out there. Why,
Yeah.
why can't that be we?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of ways to make money, obviously, right? But there's a lot of good ways, and that's the way I feel about business too, and entrepreneurship, because you're helping business owners. Like you're helping them grow their business. Like you're not just doing it for the money, right? It's you're literally helping a business provide for their family, provide for their employees, provide for their community. So you're helping, in essence, grow the community.
Hey, Josh, where can people find the collapse?
The collapse right now is on my YouTube channel. Is go to Joshua Moroles, and there's a link. Actually, I'll send it to you too, so you can share it with your audience. I released it yesterday, and it's going to be going out through the rest of the month. And also, you'll have access to both documentaries, which is the collapse and Conquista. And there's two versions of each. Some of them go a little bit more in depth of the actual events that happened that night, and it's an interesting story that I think the Rio Grande Valley needs to hear.
Well, yeah, it's our history.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. And again, send me the link. I'll share on my pages. Guys, look up Joshua Morales on YouTube. It's good to have you on, man. It's good to see you again.
appreciate it, man. Thank you
I
for
thought,
having me.
I thought you'd forgotten about me.
No, no, never, man. You're Brownsville's shining light, man.
Guys, have a great day. Please go out there and subscribe to Joshua Morales on YouTube, guys. And yeah, check out the collapse and the Conquista. And again, I plan to this week. Not today. I'm sure this couple of days. I think it's just so interesting, and I'm very proud of what you do. I think what you do is very important for our community and for other individuals in other areas to to learn a little bit of the angst and wants and yearns and pains of people here. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you, man. Thank you for having
Guys,
me.
guys, be good to each other. Continue to be good to me. God bless.
Bye.